They didn't record an intro, so like...
Look at us all relaxed in our merch.
I don't have any merch. I just got hats.
You got a hat. That's
I
merch.
got a hat.
You're saying that people are out there buying hats, going, I'm getting Canadian Real Estate Show merch, and you're saying
believe
I don't have
this?
merch while you're wearing the hat. That's a great hat. Look at how clear that writing is.
Isn't that beautiful?
Great again. That's even better than the MAGA hat.
Oh, I like your hoodie. Look at that thing.
I do too. It's actually really comfy. It feels warm. Today's a cold day, and I'm feeling super warm and cozy. It's a good size. I ordered a medium, and a medium is usually my size. Maybe a small if it's like a bigger cut, but it fits really nice.
That's a medium?
Yeah.
I got a small in the mail.
You got a small hoodie?
I got a small, yeah, but that was not on purpose. I wanted a large.
Well, you must have clicked small because the
we
merch
definitely
store is very accurate, and it definitely will provide people what they order. So
No,
you
we
must have clicked-
definitely no, we
you
hit.
definitely pressed small.
Well, I didn't order it, but it's definitely our fault. But
yeah,
now,
100%.
now we get to give away a free small hoodie. Right?
How does that work? In the comments?
If you, well, next person that orders a full size, well, actually, the next person that orders anything on the merch store gets a free small hoodie,
Attaboy.
whether you want it or not.
Whether you need it or not, whether it's going to be worn ever or not.
Find something to fit into it, TK.
So the Christmas holidays are here.
It's holiday time. Everybody's not working.
Hanukkah, Christmas.
Hanukkah? What the hell's a Hanukkah?
Is Kwanzaa? What's the other? Is there another?
Hanukkah? That's not how you say it.
How do you say it?
Chanukah.
You've never said it like that in your life.
Never, but I don't say Hanukkah.
Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah. Talk to my friend Veronica. She knows how to play the harmonica. I say happy Hanukkah. Wow, look at you. You got a blue hat.
No, I got a blue hat.
Yeah. Okay.
I like the red one. Which one I like better. I like them both.
I like the red one. I wish I had
the
a red
blue one kind of represents conservatives since we need a change, right?
Yeah.
But the red one kind of represents Canada, which we're part of.
Not the Liberal Party. I mean,
well, but
so many
people,
so many things going on right now, Darryl.
So many.
There's a lot of political
right
stuff going on. I think the end of the year brings that because it's like the end of the year. People want change. People have to make announcements. They have to update their budget. They have to talk about their forward-thinking plans. And then all of a sudden, we kind of just have to like stop in the rat race and come off autopilot and be like, you know what? We actually don't know what we're doing and things aren't going so well. And then people start to make changes.
That's what it is? I don't know. There seems to be a lot.
This is a time to reflect.
Time to reflect, yes. But there seems to be a lot of changes going on all over the world with regards to governments and failures and big changes, right? You got, what is it, Brazil? Where's that Milei guy? Is it Brazil? Is it wherever the hell he is? Somewhere in South America somewhere. But that guy went in, changed everything, chopped like 30% of the government, maybe even more, maybe kept 30% of the government, made all kinds of reforms, got rid of all kinds of bloat and garbage, and got the economy back on track. And then you got that other guy in El Salvador who took a gamble on Bitcoin and kind of reclaimed El Salvador, which was a pretty shitty place to be. And now that place is rocking and rolling. Where are you going?
What should the people do?
Huh?
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I'm double subscribed. Do it yourself. Didn't get to fix the show, though. Didn't get to fix the show.
You see, I think France's government just failed and Germany's government just failed.
Argentina,
right.
Yeah,
That's what I was
not
talking
Venezuela.
about. Argentina. Venezuela, Argentina, Puerto
Venezuela's
Rico.
not doing
What's
as
the
well.
difference,
Venezuela's
TK?
not doing so good yet, but
The point
Argentina's
is,
back on track.
and now the States has kind of reclaimed their country by getting, somebody that's not senile back in the hot seat.
Not yet.
Well, he's not there yet, but they voted him in.
No, I'm saying he's not senile yet.
Not senile yet. Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Right.
Yeah.
No, he's
Think
not
about it.
senile yet.
This is what happens when you get old, okay? All of a sudden, things just aren't the same anymore. All of a sudden, that brain just doesn't do the same things that it used to do.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Like how my mic is set up.
But it looks like the world or the population is starting to think along the lines of revolution or taking back what is supposed to be ours. And that's a government that works for the people, not for LGBTQ and Ukraine, right? We're looking for people that take care of here, like, maybe Mayor Chow, who's, getting all kinds of new rental housing on the market, right?
Yeah,
Mayor Chow.
36,000 units already under application, which is
Whoa,
awesome. Yeah.
that's a ton, isn't it?
Yeah, it sounds
that
like
a
a lot. I
ton?
mean, that's just in the city of Toronto.
Is that actually a fact that we have?
Well, she was on the
quantifiable
radio. Yeah, I
evidence?
heard her on the radio this week, and that's what she was bragging about. Now, that's an application.
Is it?
And that was only since after they made those changes as far as the exemption for development charges.
Is it true, though? Is it true, TK?
Property taxes. Well, I don't think she would say it on the radio if it wasn't true.
But where are all these applications, TK?
But she did say that they were flooded with applications right away, and that it was like over 30,000 units to be created. So,
well, listen, I'm kind of a development nerd. I like to know what's going on in the development space for some weird reason, and I follow quite a bit. And I see when applications come in, especially for purpose-built rental. And although there might be some more, there's definitely more, and everybody's talking about it now. Like it's the only way to get a deal done basically nowadays. Like where's all the applications though? Like there's a few, 30,000.
30,000.
30,000?
30,000. That's a lot of units.
Are you dying to have the Canadian Real Estate Show merch?
Ho, ho, ho. I bet they are, Darryl. Guess what?
Ho, ho, ho.
Now they can buy it themselves. Go check out the merch store.
What a Christmas gift this would be. Make Canada great again, TK.
Yeah. Your significant other. Think about them opening up on Christmas Day, a gift from the Canadian Real Estate Show. Maybe they don't even know what that is, but imagine the look on their eyes of surprise. Guys, for very reasonable rates that we make very little money on, check out the merch store and support the cause.
That's right. Support the cause. Get a hoodie.
Now, remember,
it's a lot of units.
There's a lot of politicalness going on in her speech, right? So it's like she probably is able to quantify applications that were already processed.
Right. Yeah, we're just going to count
and that she probably
these. It's
can
like
say,
immigration.
well, we're going to apply the development charges exemption to those applications, and we're also going to apply the property tax. So all of a sudden now it becomes not just how many new applications did they create, but in total. So again, I didn't fact check her, but this is like directly from the horse's mouth here. Forgive the term and expression.
Well, she's a horse and she's got a mouth and nobody knows what's coming out of
Look,
it. But
she's doing what she can.
Things,
At the end of the day, like this is how things work in politics. Like you'll start wherever the last guy left off. Right. And you'll try to clean up as much as possible. And
blame him for everything shit.
You won't have enough time to actually do it. I was listening to the radio and they were talking about William Lyon Mackenzie King, and he was prime minister for 24 years.
Yeah.
I'm not a history buff, so it's like I didn't know that, but I heard it on the radio.
Yeah.
Like that's how you get some stuff done. And that was through like World War II and stuff. Like that's how you get things done in order to actually make changes. Like
24 years.
We keep changing the person over and over and over again all the time.
Well, you got
just need
this
to find
fucking
someone
moron.
good and hang on to them,
Okay.
and like let them run out their term and find like Hazel McCallion in Mississauga. Let me finish. Hazel McCallion in Mississauga. That's a prime example of somebody who literally crushed it who took Mississauga from like this like small little town next to Toronto into like a pretty decent city. The fact that Mississauga is such a big city and that it's right next to Canada's biggest city is incredible. Like it should be a city on its own out somewhere else, but it's just right next to another big city. And that was because of her forward thinking. And I think that that is where, is Olivia Chow the girl? I don't know. Maybe she is. But it would be nice to have somebody controlling things for a little bit longer so that their plan can actually come to fruition, because nothing happens in 4 years. Nothing happens in 8 years.
Look
We
what
had a good
happens in
20
9 years, though, behind this Trudeau fella.
Okay, great. So get somebody new in and like, let's leave him there for a while. Let's
Leave
find
him
someone
there for a
good. Let's
while.
see. Let's roll the dice.
But this is the thing, is like, if they're not good, you have to do the inverse of that. You have to get them out quick when there's all kinds of shenanigans going on and they're out in the public eye and everybody knows it. Have you seen the videos of this guy trying to walk down the street now? The guy's got an army battalion walking beside him. He's got, armed cars. Everybody's yelling and hating him.
Yeah.
Like, I think he has outlived his welcome. And
Well,
I mean, he
That's
didn't
obvious.
get more housing on the market, right? He didn't get
Yeah.
wages up for anybody. He didn't get the economy going. He did what did he do actually? What did he do?
gave
for
away a
Canada?
bunch of money and made some really bad decisions during the pandemic. Right.
Yeah, I'd say there was a couple of bad decisions in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Some really hasty sort of like jump the gun, oh my God, the world's going to end type of decisions that put us in a really bad position. Imagine if that was not done, if the CERB and all the other programs that were used back then weren't implemented and that we just sort of let it ride.
Let it ride?
Yeah.
Holy cow. Everybody'd be out of business.
No, I don't think so.
No, all those restaurants would have been gone. If they didn't get to borrow 60 grand.
Yeah, but have
God
they paid
knows
back
what
that 60 grand yet?
Some of them
Okay.
just went bankrupt and started new
Took the money
restaurants.
somewhere else.
Right.
They said, thank you.
I'd say a lot of them probably did not pay them back. I know of someone personally very close to home that has the full 60 grand loan out. Didn't even fucking realize it. Okay. Nobody's been chasing them. Nobody's sent a statement. No amount of interest. It's just yet, but how long? It's been over
I
a
don't
year.
know. Eventually they check the books. Eventually they go, where did that $60,000 go? And
Where's
they say,
that
hey,
s-
Sarah, you owe us 60 big ones.
It's
Oh,
like-
by the way, interest is calculated as per this date. And
Right.
because you didn't file this, we're also going to charge you that late filing penalty.
And you can't fight it. And you can't fight it, or we'll
No, it's
run
like-
you over with a horse.
Right?
Right? We'll come
is
to
how
your
it is.
door.
This is
we'll
how it
run
is.
you over
Well-
with a horse.
Welcome to the government operations, right? So, yeah, imagine if that didn't happen, how much more, yes, travesties would have happened. But just all the things, Darryl, I'm dealing with, like from the trenches here. I got power sale after power sale. I just took a credit union just hired me to do a power sale for them in Mississauga too. Now I've got 3 other properties that are like imminent power sales that we're trying to find solutions for. Okay. Like
Solutions that aren't dropping the price and selling the house.
solutions that are like we're lending money, we're buying out second mortgages in a few different properties, we're lending money to pay in arrears for the first mortgage. We're doing a lot of stuff. Like we're doing a lot of stuff that involves people who are just absolutely at the end of the line, and that we're just trying to be able to get them out because they're like, we don't know what to do. And thankfully, agents don't know what they're doing. Like, thankfully, this is the type of industry where, chances are the agent that somebody knows doesn't know what they're doing. Right? They might have been able to put together some deals over the years. They might have had 10 deals one year or 20 deals one year. Or they did some deals back in 2021, or over the last 10 years, they had a little bit of success. But when the market shifts, you need to have like a high amount of creativity. You need to have huge amount of resources. You got to have, you got to be able to navigate situation with lawyers and all that stuff. So I'm taking over listings from agents who just aren't doing anything. They're just kind of sitting around. They put it on the MLS. It's the wrong price. Nothing's being done right. Information's wrong. One of them yesterday, the guy calls me and he's up the creek without a paddle. And it's his buddy who's his agent. And, he's listed, right? So I can't really say much to him. He's listed. I can't be like, convincing him to delist with his friend or whatever. So I just gave him like general information. It's called interfering with the listing. So I'm staying away from that topic, but he's reaching out to us, so I'm answering his questions because I'm allowed to. And then he goes to me, he goes, it's a great 3-unit property. And I'm looking at the listing, I'm like, 2 kitchens. And I'm like, was it like that when you bought it? He says, yeah. It's like that how I bought it. So I said, okay, let me check the old listing. I checked the old listing. 2 kitchens. No mention of it being 3 units. I said, you sure you got 3 kids? Yeah, I got 3. This one's here, this one's there. Da, da, da. And I'm just like, yeah, well, like that makes sense. You haven't gotten any showings lately, or you haven't sold it yet. It's because it's listed as a 2-unit property instead of a 3-unit property. His agent just copy and pasted the old listing. Didn't even update the listing now that he's trying to sell the property again. Now, this guy also bought in 2021, so I told him the truth. You're not frozen right now, are you, Darryl? Just blink 3 times to let me know that you're okay. You're doing great today.
If I cut you off, you tell me to let you finish. And
you're doing great
today.
Let you finish.
You're
doing great today.
Fucking ramble on for an hour.
Good. You're doing
about
amazing.
A topic we weren't even talking about. But okay.
Well, this is important. This is a real life, boots on the ground thing.
Yeah.
And but he bought in 2021, so I told him the truth, which was I don't know anybody who bought in 2021 who's now selling in 2024 who isn't losing money. So I told him the truth. His listing expires on the 31st. I said, call me January 1st when it expires. We'll talk. But that's what's going on out there.
I'll bet. But
yeah.
See, it's weird because you think that, even guys like Daniel Foch are saying that there's light at the end of the tunnel now, and that things, how much more could they go down? We saw a big crash, right? We saw a big crash already. And things are, other than Toronto and I guess Vancouver, things are probably fairly stable everywhere else in the country. Probably even prices are going up in some areas, at least
if I hear Luke from Market Mania say that things are going up again, I'm buying.
If Luke is saying
I'm buying.
But
everything.
Foch is like,
I'm boring private. But Foch is like most people
Foch
are just doing things for views. No, most people just do it because it gets them views. Like, but
running out of stuff to say.
Yeah, just to get the view thing. But what's his name? Luke and that other guy, John Flynn.
Flynn.
Who won't come on the show.
Won't come on the show.
They're super bear. Like they like I saw him the other day.
They almost gloat in it though. Like who's buying a house from John Flynn? Honestly,
like,
how does that work?
He was like the plan of the reset is almost there. And I'm just like, it's been like years since you've been talking about the same thing, right? So when those guys turn, I'm buying. All right, that's it. Anybody else don't listen to, including myself. We don't know what we're talking about. Nobody knows where the market's
things
going.
Actually going right now, because
I'm seeing pressure upwards right now.
You see, it depends. Holiday market.
Pressure upwards right now. Listings came down. We had like a bunch of offers on one property, sold some over asking. I'm getting offers on places. I'm getting lots of showings on places. I'm seeing a healthy Christmas market going into January, and a bunch more listings coming on the market in January because I'm dealing with all those sellers. Listed one yesterday that goes on the 6th of January. So a bunch of people will come on in January, satisfy the buyer's needs, and we'll go back to that market in 2025. But like I said, I just said I don't know what I'm talking about and don't believe what I said because nobody knows.
I was just thinking about it before the show, and I was thinking to myself, I really haven't been approached by anybody with any deals for a long time, and I haven't really seen anything for actually quite some time. The last thing I saw was actually it was a couple days ago, but I don't even know if I should count it because it came through my planner. So how bad could those deals be if the realtor is like going to the planner like, hey, do you have anybody that might be interested in these deals?
Yeah,
because I can't find anybody. Maybe the planner knows somebody.
I don't know. I wouldn't look into it too much. I'd check out the deal.
Well, but yeah, of course I look at every deal. Well, almost every deal. Not even that I'm buying anything right now, but I just like to kind of see what's out there. And God, if something great comes across my desk, then I'll figure something out, I suppose. But the velocity and the frequency and the amount of deals coming at me is very slim. And so what I was thinking to myself is that could mean 2 things. One, there's just no fucking deals out there and everybody's given up completely, or the guys above me, which there's a ton of them, right, are actually looking at and tying up deals now, and they're not getting down to little old Darryl, right? All the bigger players are starting to do some deals. I don't think it's that one, to be honest. From the people that I've talked to, I think everybody's kind of either trying to figure out purpose built rental or standing pat and waiting to see what happens. Right. But I have seen some houses and townhouses.
I think the development stuff's been solved already. I think the average person had to come up with their refinance over the last 2 years, right? And so they came up with that, refinance option, the sell option, the convert debt to equity option, the raise more capital option. Like they had to swallow their pride and come up with something. I think that the troubling sites that were like, massively over leveraged, most of them have gone into receivership by now or power of sale.
Well, but what about the ones that, all the people can't close because it's like all the morons from the end of the cycle?
That hasn't happened yet. Those ones that are like, they actually got into construction, whether they started it, finished it, whatever, but they actually broke ground, those haven't happened yet. Right. I'm talking about the ones that are just like, zone sites that are just sitting there doing nothing. Well, someone had to figure something out on those ones.
Well, I mean, I guess a lot of people have bought stuff with the intent on zoning it and flipping it, thinking that, there's got to be enough time for me to make out okay on the other side of this thing. Yeah. And then we're like, here is like not good to sell a zone site. That's for damn sure.
Nobody's buying
Or maybe in the next 6 months, they're coming out and the plan is a zone site. Or maybe all those purpose-built rental buildings right now that Chow is bragging about are sites that guys intended not to actually build themselves, but to flip as zone sites to guys planning on building, right? And there's just going to be more options, I think, in that kind of zoned realm, because I don't think the ones that are out there now are selling, and I don't think the new ones coming up are going to sell. And I think there's going to be more offices that become more vacant, and I don't know why I feel so negatively about what's about to come, but I feel like it should be picking up.
Well, let's talk about sort of down in the States, because I think that's been the big topic, right? So
that's not good either.
The U.S. Fed dropping their policy rate down 1/4 point, which to us, we're all like, great. This is fantastic. They're lowering rates. This should be a good thing. Yeah. But their forecast of what was previously next year having 4 more rate cuts is now down to 2, and all of a sudden the stock market dropped.
Forward guidance, TK.
This all is of a sudden everybody's concerned. They're worried about future tariffs with Trump and how that might affect the economy. Yeah, I like the red. That's good.
Forward
how that
guidance.
might affect how that might affect the economy. They're talking about interest rates on housing and stuff like that too haven't really changed much. They're at like a 7.75% peak, but now they're already like they're above 6 still.
People but that's really what's moving. Crazy is
they're not transacting.
But they've been cutting rates, and they're up at they've gone from 6 something to 7 something with their 30-year terms.
No, right? Down from 7 something to 6.
No,
so it did. Yeah, the peak was last year, which was 7.75, and then it came down to 6. It went up a little bit recently, but the peak was last year.
Back over 7.
Well,
since whatever they started cutting.
Yeah, whatever the numbers are, which is not that important.
But it's not good.
People aren't transacting houses. People aren't moving, and that they're not saying, I want to go and buy a house, because they're like, I don't want to change my rate. Because if they still got a rate from 5 years ago, those are the good old days. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm going to have to go into a 6-7% rate, whatever the number is. Yeah. Right. And so that's that. I mean, housing stimulation for the economy is not just north of the border. It's down there as well, too. But like, that's a major thing right now is, the health of the U.S. economy. The way I look at it, in my opinion, is if they're now talking about less rate cuts, they're not worried about inflation as much. Okay. They're not worried about, I know there's a potential for rate hikes. They're not worried about their economy as much. They're not worried about unemployment. And like they say down in, like, we have an expression, when the U.S. sneezes, the Canada catches a cold. So for me, like, having a healthy U.S. economy is a good thing for us. the tariffs aren't good or anything
But
like
is
that
it
too.
healthy? This is the thing.
Well, that's what
Is
they're
that
saying.
economy healthy?
Well, if it wasn't as healthy, then they would be saying, guys, we got big issues here. We're going to definitely cut those rates next year. They're based right. That's why they cut rates, is to stimulate the economy. So the fact that they're saying, hey,
But they
well,
did
instead
cut
of four,
rates.
they did. But what they're talking about is forward guidance for next year.
Yeah, but that's lies. That's bullshit.
Well,
That's never true.
whatever it is, right now they're saying to the public is that we think the economy is going to be doing it. And even Powell was saying, like, we've all been waiting every single year for this year of like travesties and devastation, but we had another year of growth, and so another year of growth. Like, again, everybody's, because I think the market had already built in a lot of rate cuts, so everyone's all pumping the market and buying stocks and all that kind of stuff, and this is why
Their housing
markets are where
market
they
is
were.
a fraction of the economy compared
No,
to
I'm talking about
ours,
like
right?
stock markets and stuff,
But their stock market's ripping, and then it just crashed with that news that they're
yeah, recently,
right. The
yeah.
forward guidance news, it just crashed the stock market.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a bad thing, right? 10 days of Dow Jones declines, and it's like since 1974, the worst 10 days that they had.
Thank God that I didn't buy any stock. I think I've made it very clear. I don't own any stocks, right? I have real estate and I have GICs, and that's it. But I always want to buy stocks, right? And every time that I'm about to actually buy a stock,
because
I know
everyone else is buying at that time.
It's gonna crash.
That's like me in
right?
Bitcoin. That's like me in Bitcoin.
It's
No, I did a bunch of
crash.
options on Tesla when Trump won. That was a good move. So I made a bunch of money from Tesla recently. It's
Yeah,
good.
see, and I wanted to do that. And I've been watching Tesla for 5 or 6 years, right? Just like going, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then I never do it. And I should have done it. But I know as soon as I go in and I go in like hard, that's when the stock just
Honestly,
goes.
my opinion is my expertise is in real estate. I understand it. I know what to do. I know how to navigate it. The market analysis is much easier for me to do. So like, I don't ever plan on making big moves in the stock market like some sort of guy like that knows what he's doing. I got a bunch of ETFs. I do a little bit of options. It's not my biggest investment that I do. Real estate is the focus. That's got to be the focus. You too. Like, what do we know about the stock market?
I know nothing about it. That's why I don't do it. I can't. It makes
think
me
about
nervous.
all the guys who are like, maybe they have a really good stock market or some other business acumen. This is like the most normal developer, because the truth is most big developers have their own real estate agents. They got their cousin, their uncle, their aunt, whatever. They got internal real estate agents. So very rarely are they going to come to us and ask us for help. So the guys who do come to me and our team for help, a lot of the times, are inexperienced developers, right? And now most of them, the profile that I've been seeing over the last couple of years is guys who are really successful in their field. Not real estate, but some other business. So they got a bunch of money, and then they said, let's start a real estate division. Right?
I'm going to flip
just like
some
me
houses.
getting into Bitcoin. Yeah.
Sure.
They don't know what they're doing. And
It's
they
like
they have all this
into Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like all this. I only buy Bitcoin at the top, by the way. If I tell you I'm buying Bitcoin,
That's right.
That's a good time to sell.
This is a good time. We're talking Bitcoin now. Time to sell.
Time to sell. So the real estate, though, the inexperience that the developers that I'm dealing with are dealing with is because they just don't understand the real estate market.
It's the same thing though. They get caught up in all the hype and everybody's making money and everybody's looking like a genius and they have some money. So now, I mean, what's other than being a realtor, which is the easiest thing in the whole bloody planet.
Yeah.
Really, the easiest thing is to, be a flipper or developer or right. It's really easy to do all this stuff, to just buy a house and build a new house and sell it. That's easy to do. Anybody can just do that, right? The problem is, TK.
Yeah, are we being like facetious?
Fucking
is this like sarcasm?
hard, yeah.
Okay.
And look, even I was one of those putzes back in 2006, where it was just like, oh my god, everybody's making money. I can do this, and it's like,
well, I mean,
I was in the industry and I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing, and I went for it. So like, imagine, like you're saying, like the doctor or the dentist who's like, I'm going to buy this property and I'm going to hire this guy and he's going to not rip me off, and it's going to be this beautiful partnership and we're going to do it over and over and over again. Yeah. And then it's like, holy shit, you get calls at 6 a.m. at 12 at night, and
They all lose money. They make money in their area of expertise, and then
it's
they
a
lose money in real
disaster.
estate. It's a great place
Yeah.
to lose money.
Well, but why is there the perception that it's so easy to just buy a lot and build a house and make a ton of money? Why do people think that that is just so bloody easy that so many like fresh off the boat people with cash jump right into that thing?
Yeah.
Like,
I think we live in the houses, so we think, okay, I know a lot about them. I think we all feel that developers make a ton of money. They think, wow, those developers, they're so smart. They make so much money. That's what I want to do because they hear about the stories and they hear about the success of that person selling that land after this
yeah,
many years. They don't understand what it takes to hold that land for that many years. They don't
yeah,
understand what it takes to find that deal. They don't understand what it takes to develop that property, to get that zoning, all the risks and everything else like that. So they think,
yeah,
oh, wow, they make a lot of money, so therefore I should do it. It's a similar thing to real estate agents,
right,
right? Similar thing
right.
to real estate agent. Everybody gets their real estate license because they look at what a real estate agent does. They say that looks easy.
Yeah, but you see, there's a difference. So even in the good times, okay, when things were rocking and socking and everything was good and it was a big party, it was still hard to fucking develop something. It was still hard to knock down a house and build another house. It wasn't hard to sell the fucking house, okay?
True, but if you did end up building a
You guys are
house,
the worst.
or if you did build a house,
Scum.
or you did get your
Absolute scum.
zoning, or you did launch, you made money because of the market. The market made you look like a genius.
The market did make
So,
people look like geniuses,
yeah,
especially these fools I'm talking about that did get in at the right time and did have a product to sell at the right time and
yeah,
got out at the right time, right? But most people that don't know what they're doing, even a lot of people that do know what they're doing, they don't know when the end is. They might feel like it's coming soon, but
yeah.
like,
They
let's
roll that
just
money
get
back into the next project.
one more in
And they say, look, we're
before.
going to pay twice as much for the land this time, but prices are up and we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
They throw their metrics out the door.
Yeah, worst cases, we'll do a purpose-built rental and we'll
Yeah,
uh, we'll
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Multifamily is the same too. Guys were impatient. They're impatient. So they started buying these really low cap rates. I'm dealing with a lady right now who bought the building. She bought the building off of her agent and her bought it off of me. I was representing my seller. And so she called me the other day or a month ago and she said, you know, you guys really got us good. You know, we paid too much for the building. The tenants are all garbage. The building needs lots of work and everything like that. And I said, look, the market was hot. Everybody overpaid for the buildings back then. You know, it's a 14-unit building in Toronto. I said, everybody overpaid back then. I said, this is the market. It wasn't just you. She says, but you did such a great job. She says, I want you as my agent. She says, I'll
Yeah.
never sell another building again unless it's with you because I can see how well you represented your seller. She's like, I got screwed. She said, but you did a great job. I swear to God, that's what she
This is
said.
the agent?
This is the buyer.
Oh, the buyer. The
The
buyer.
buyer's calling me now direct, right? So I'm helping
Mhm.
her and figuring she owns a bunch of buildings. She's a smart lady. She owns a bunch of buildings. But her strategy, like she had owned a bunch of buildings, she had done really well. She like super good. Why did she pay so much for that building? It didn't make sense. It shouldn't have met her criteria as
But it
far as
must
what
have,
buildings
no?
she could buy.
You just
No,
said
it's
she's
just
smart and she owns a bunch of buildings. What
there
happened?
was no other options at that time. And so
So
she
why not
looked at all
park the money?
well, she should have done that, but everyone was impatient. That's what I just said.
Everybody wants to
And they
make a
just wanted to buy
deal.
another building. You just buy the
Yeah.
building. And so she bought another building and that building was overvalued at that time by I don't know, $500,000. And then it also had a bunch of issues that she had to take on that came up afterwards. So,
People are
she's upset.
deal junkies, deal hounds. Like, I swear to
Yeah.
God, how many times have I said I'm not buying anything right now? And like, even you still send me
You.
stuff, right? And people, and I can't not look. It's like,
Yeah.
I even said earlier in the show, it's like, if it's a great deal, like I'll try and figure something out, right?
Yeah.
But it's a weird, weird market. You said that like pre-construction figured it out before. What the fuck did they figure out? I think we have
What do you mean?
like a doom scenario coming up. We have a waterfall. We have a tsunami. We have a giant fucking tornado of inventory coming on the market that has to be at or near the peak pricing that right purchase and can't possibly appraise anywhere close. And so like, okay, so we've got these measures in place to help people out, but how many people want to get in so deep? I mean, imagine what if we've already been seeing appraisals that have been what, like 20, 25% off of the price that they actually paid for it. What the fuck is this next batch going to look like, right? And how are they all going to close? And I think at this point in the market, you had people buying like floors of buildings, 10 units in a building, 5 units in a building, right? So if you have these end of days, investor driven COVID proformas that are starting, that got financed, right? Because they hit threshold and they're like built.
Yep.
Yeah, in a year or two, when they start trying to move people in, what the fuck? You still got 40,000 units on the market one way or another in condo land, don't you?
Yeah. One thing that I, just because of the last few years, like things used to be a lot more stable. Like it'd be a lot easier to predict, okay, you know what, by this time next year or 2 or 3 years from now. But there's just so many variables to consider. And because of the rapid changes we had from 2019 to 14, and those 5 years, like think about how many different markets we went through. It's like absolute insanity.
It's like a stock market.
I don't want to be a doomsdayer saying like, oh my gosh, guaranteed all those people. There's a chance that those appraisals are going to come in closer than what we think to what their purchase price was. There's a chance that the condo market has a return over the next like 3 years, like the 4 years. That's a long time.
But we got to absorb what we have, plus like all the time. New stuff must be coming ready.
Well,
no?
You know what? The housing is not getting built in the city as easy. You know that. The purpose-built rental supply obviously is going to increase, whether it's only 5,000 or 30,000, whatever the number is, it's going to increase. Immigration will continue. They're stopping immigration.
Stopping or slowing?
The targets that they had before, they're not trying to reach those same targets anymore, but they're still immigrating a huge amount of people. Like you're still bringing.
I don't know how that argument even works, but I'm also starting to question the whole demand supply argument, right? Because listen, there's definitely some proof in some pudding that there's some supply now, and
and that people don't want it. All right, but where do people go as far as when the economy changes? Let's say we have some like really tough economic times. You think people are going to say, "Hey, I'm going to move to Sudbury"? There's guys in the comments, go and get a job in Sudbury right now. I wonder what that job market's like. People are going to have to move back to the city in order to be able to afford Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto, big cities. Quebec's doing great, by the way, as far as some of the prices are up, peak prices. They're above peak prices. Right now is peak.
Where?
Quebec.
What?
Quebec.
Quebec doesn't count.
I'm just saying, this is the thing. We're all like blinded by, the media and our opinions over certain things. There's lots of opportunities still for people to grow. And there's lots of opportunities for people to move to Toronto. And Toronto doesn't have any more detached houses being built. All those zone sites. I'm making a super bullish case here right now. And this is not my thought process or even really what I believe, but just to give you this side of the argument. There's a bunch of sites that aren't being sold right now. Carol.
What?
Agreed? A bunch of sites that aren't being sold right now. Agreed?
What do you mean, that are zoned?
That are zoned or to be zoned, but that will not be launched, will not be sold,
and will not be sold for sure.
If that's 3 years of that, right now, remember all those investors that normally would have been buying, they're going to be buying something. Then maybe they'll go into the resale market. And 3-4 years from now, when all the other houses are coming up, when all the other projects are coming up, then maybe that money will be used for those instead. And that maybe we have a slow pre-construction market for the next 10 years and everybody's money does get funneled into, like your idea, funds for purpose-built rentals or the remaining resale inventory. So there's a lot of things that could happen. I'm not saying anything is
I think that inventory grows first, though, right? Inventory of condos grows before it shrinks in this environment. I can't see how it shrinks before it grows.
That's my thought. That's my thought process as well too. But to say in 3 or 4 years that there's no way that those people will be able to close, we just can't predict that. It's too far.
No, we're not. No, but how do you get things to be affordable now? Like how you say they have it figured out, but there's a ton of inventory. There's more inventory coming. There's more problems coming, and you can't figure out how to make bigger units for less money without all like land cratering or
Mm-hmm.
job salaries going up like crazy or interest rates going down like crazy or some
Or
combination
the
of
30% of taxes that the government's, got levied on the property, to be reduced. And that we're already starting to see some of that. And that I think the governments are sort of pussyfooting around here because obviously they need money. But, we could get a huge, big boom to
but
price
but the,
affordability with just that one measure.
no, but that measure makes
Yeah.
the project viable now. And now it makes it so that there's profit for all the investors to have, not so that you can
Okay.
reduce the
What?
prices,
Okay. Well,
right?
what if the government
Maybe
decided to?
some you can
What if the
reduce the
government
prices.
here's a listen. This is like a what is it? Ceteris paribus, right? All other things being equal, right? What if the government decides, you know what, on all those properties that are going to close, we're not going to charge HST anymore, and that we're going to refund all the development charges for those projects in order to get them closed. Now, the buyers wouldn't have to pay as much as they paid. The developers won't have to collect as much as they collected, and those buildings would able to be closed because the banks would appraise them now at 20% less than the original purchase price, which would be more in line with today's market and the resale. Is that not a scenario that could happen? I
Could,
know
I
I know you're
suppose it
saying
could.
could what
Yeah.
but if it did happen, would that not help the condos close?
If you could somehow slash costs by
If
20%
there was
to
a
match
20%
appraisals,
reduction in that
sure.
purchase price that was all going to the government for taxation, would
What about
that
all the
not
people
help?
that closed though?
Because this is what's going to happen is who is financing these big projects? Who?
The banks.
The big banks.
Yeah, the big
The
banks.
big banks.
Big banks.
And now, does the government want to see harm come to them?
I don't imagine
And do you think
most.
that those guys got a lot of political lobbying power? If they came in
Yes.
and said, guys, listen, this is what's going to happen. We've run the numbers. We are 100% sure that this developer will close 10% of his building because that's all the qualifications based on the people who he sold to. And that 90% of those units are going to go, into default, and that we're going to have to sue all those people, and that they're going to lose all their houses. And the developer, we're going to have to put them under receivership because they're not going to be able to pay for this. And then we're going to have to sell it for 60 cents on the dollar to someone else. So we're going to take a loss.
You know, it's better to just print money and
So,
inflate the
but instead
problem
of all
away.
that, and that they're going to try on that end too, they're going to try to bring the resale market up through stimulation. But instead, they could say, hey, reduce the burden through taxation, development charges, and all that kind of stuff. All three levels of government: HST, development charges, everything else. I'm just giving you a scenario, Darryl.
Listen, I mean, it doesn't stop the government from needing those funds, though. It stops those funds from being needed by the end user, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop the government needing that money. So
Did you see the budget? Did you see the budget update?
isn't that fucking nuts?
Is that like, do you think
How
that
do you
they're
do
worried
that?
about what their budget says or if they've got a surplus or a deficit? It is like literally the last thing on their mind. They're like, $40 billion up 60.
You know,
Look at the
Darryl, we
money they're
wanted to
sending out.
talk to you about
Yeah.
the budget because we were supposed to be at about 20 billion. And we noticed that after you were finished construction on the project, we were hovering around 60 billion. And so we wanted to discuss your bonus with you because we think you did such a fantastic job. We were thinking about maybe keeping you on for a few more years,
Give you some stocks, increase your
right?
pay, a little
Maybe
bit more,
interest-free loan,
incentives,
right?
right?
What the fuck is going on? How can you be so far off? And then, okay, so what happened? Did he fire her? Did she quit? Or is it like we need a distraction because this budget
Yeah.
has to come out finally?
No, but based on like her tone, it seems like
Is it like a
she
magician?
she wanted to go. But I think at the end of the day, um, it's obvious that we were struggling in that area. It's obvious that there needs to be somebody to blame. It's obvious that there's got to be, a reshuffling of the cabinet, that there's going to be new
What the
housing.
fuck does that do?
ministers.
How does
Like,
that
if you read
fix
the housing,
anything?
if you read the housing minister's claim, it's all for his family and all that stuff, and good for him. She was a little bit more, feisty, I guess, on her way out.
What the
right?
hell does shuffling the
was-
cabinet do? What does this do?
It protects the overall liberal party. I mean, that's what they're going to do. I mean, they need to shuffle the top. They need to shuffle that guy, and so then that way, remember, they're trying to win an election later this year,
So
and they got to
you're
figure out
really
who's the best
bad at
person.
your job, right? You're really bad at what you're doing right now. So we're gonna just move you over here where you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. We're gonna move you here, and you, hey Sally.
Well, no, they're not
you
everybody's.
are
Not
horrible
everybody's
at
in the
that.
minister cabinet, right?
Let's
Not
move you
everybody's
over
in
here.
Not they don't move them anywhere. They just go back to being an MP and they just take care of their constituents.
Right.
But they take other MPs and they say, hey, guess what? You know how you were telling me you're really good at environmental stuff? Well, you're now the housing minister.
Remember you were telling me how much you love those paper straws? Well, guess what? Right? You're
Finance
now
minister.
the environmental minister.
Yeah.
And deputy finance minister of Canada.
So these are
Fuck no.
obviously major changes that are happening. But the fact that is, the budget is really not as important as people think, as it should be. As it should be. They do what they got to do, right?
Yes.
So I'm not worried
Ignore
about
that.
I'm not
right?
worried about the government not having enough money to fund all this through taxation and all that kind of stuff, because they
Don't
are going to do
worry.
whatever they want. Let's talk about where the money goes.
Where does it go to?
They like to give out a lot of money.
Where does it go? It goes to like
and people don't-
coders, programmers.
No, probably. But here's
Goes to
some of the issues.
foundations.
People don't want to talk about, supporting countries like Ukraine and supporting other countries. They say,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
we're here to support, Ukraine. I mean, those poor people and everything else. I get it. But what about Canadians? Why
Fuck
would
Canadians.
why would we not make sure, like, I'm happy to like give them an IOU and say, hey, when we get back on track, we'll give you all the money that
We'll figure out
we would
the
normally
problems
would
then.
give you,
Yeah.
but just right now we can't,
And simultaneously, we will flood the country with more people than it can handle.
Yeah.
And we'll send all the money to other countries to help them out. This
Then
is
there's more
brilliant.
sensitive issues like the indigenous money that gets handed out every year too, right? No one wants to talk about
Bribes.
that either,
Right.
right? Again,
Bribes
things
everywhere.
like that. Looking at the big picture and saying to yourself, hey, like where does the money really need to go right now, and how are we going to be able to get through this? And at this point in time, liberal spending is like the worst thing that we could have ever thought of. And that
I can't even.
are the conservatives going to come in and start to cut everything to the point where we can actually get back on track? I don't know if they can.
Why not? Why aren't they going to do? Look at what's going on in the States. Like he's not even in power yet. They're already calling Musk, President Musk, and Vice President Trump over there because Musk is having so much influence. Did you see they turned down that 1,500-page bill that they were trying to sneak through? Did you see that whole thing? And
No.
they got it chopped down to like 150 pages or something like that. But this is what these motherfuckers do: is they write these crazy bills, they sneak all kinds of shit in, they give everybody 3 hours to look at it. Well, nobody can even understand the wording in it because they're all a bunch of fucking dummies, these guys, except for the few that are lawyers. But I don't even think we get lawyers anymore. Like we really get scumbags that are willing to do like whoever talked them into running for government, right?
Yeah.
Whatever they said that they need to do, they're just willing to do, right? They find like these guys that are willing to run and, do whatever's necessary for these business interests all the time. This is what it's turned into, right?
Yeah.
Lawyers, I guess, are pretty scummy if they're in there too, because they really know how to fuck shit up and manipulate things.
There's a guy that was on Joe Rogan podcast because he did another podcast. Let me give his name so that people can watch it. And that he was the governor at one point, but he
Jesse
got
Ventura from the WWF,
no,
formerly WWF.
nope.
No.
Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevic.
Okay, what's this
so
about?
listen, so he was in prison for 9 years because basically the people in the states who sort of run everything didn't like the way he was doing things in Illinois. So he was a governor, and
Yeah. What
they
was he
got him
doing?
nothing, and that's his story. And so they were saying he's corrupt. So he ended up going to jail, and they were like, just plead guilty and you get 18 months. And he was like, no, because I really didn't do anything. And so he got 9 years because he just
9 years.
just because he wanted to make sure that he told his story and said, I really didn't do anything. And so the same people went after Trump, he's saying, basically, right? And that there's just like this huge political underworld, that controls things down
Yeah,
there.
they call
and
it
that
lawfare.
if the governor's not doing what they want to do, even the governor of Illinois, if he's not
Yeah,
doing
then
what
he
they want
becomes
to
a
do,
pedophile or a rapist.
exactly,
or he likes
right?
little
You know what I mean?
boys next.
Exactly,
It's like,
right?
that's what they do. It's crazy. If you look
Yeah.
at all the people that are against, whoever the hell's running things, say
Yeah.
something out of place, next thing you know, they're like sex traffickers or they're rapists or
Yeah.
they're, at the
And they say,
Diddy
look, we'll make this all
parties.
go away. Just plead guilty and that you won't have to do the time. Your family, your son wants to
Because he's
get into
not
that
corrupt,
school,
right? Because he's
Yeah.
not corrupt. They're fucking around with him because he won't play
Exactly.
ball, probably.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, really? You're not going to let us build this?
All right. So
Whatever the
they had to
fuck here,
like
this
go.
hotel?
They had to try him twice because the
Fucking
first time
pedophile?
they had to wait till they found a judge that was actually going to convict him. Like it was like a
Right.
serious
Get the vote in a
orchestration.
judge first to get this guy out.
It was
Right?
a serious orchestration.
But
Yeah.
this is what happens. This is how fucked up everything is. It's
Yeah.
so fucking crazy.
So these are the things that obviously in Canada, we're just such like a, I don't know. We're kind of like we're a little bit of a wuss. Like
We
when you
just don't
watch
know. We don't
Congress in the States and then you watch like the Parliament and like how we act and all these things like that, it's kind of a joke.
People
really
don't know. Listen, I can't say a lot of stuff because although people don't really believe it, I mean, I am a professional the other, few hours of the week that I'm not on this show. And so what really happens behind the scenes is fucking insane. Okay. But it's like anything else. It's like if I say something about, certain things, maybe I don't get what I'm trying to get. So I got to keep my fucking mouth shut. Right. And I mean, although it may be hard to believe that I keep my mouth shut, there is so many things that I would love to shed light on that would be horrible for me personally that I'm just not willing to do at the moment. Right.
Not on the show. We don't have enough subscribers for that.
But listen,
It'd be a lot different if we had like 1 million subscribers.
Not to change anything, to just get off my chest and be honest, right? But it's like you can't do that. And so imagine like these politicians where they actually get some real shit on you, not just like, maybe I'm not going to get the parking I'm looking for or the side setback. It's like real shit, right? Imagine what kind of shenanigans are really going on. I mean, we hear the stories, we see the stuff. Talking about shenanigans and pieces of shit, and maybe we weren't talking about that. But what about Jag Meat? What about that motherfucker?
Hey.
What about that fucking
what do you mean? He's
now all of
a sudden he's on everybody's side. He's saying,
okay.
I'm not happy with Trudeau either. You're still upset with him?
He's been saying that forever. Now all of a sudden that the timing works in his favor for his pension.
He's a politician, of course. It's his job. What's he going to do? He's going to jeopidize his spot as his party leader. He's doing a great job. He's playing chess. Everyone else is playing checkers.
So my point from before is that we're so dumb here in Canada. We don't realize how fucking corrupt our political system really is.
Every person I've talked to recently has told me that being the 51st state sounds like a great idea and that we should vote on it. Not one person that I've talked to has been like, oh, that's crazy. Who wants to? Every single person I've even brought it up to, they're like, I know, right? I know. Let's do it.
They're offering us a $1-to-$1.
Go to the post office, Shoppers Drug Mart. Like, how do we figure this out?
And they're offering the $1-to-$1, right? $1-to-$1. So now, especially, that's a great fucking deal. But what's the difference? There's literally a bridge, and we have to stop saying oot and a boot, maybe. And we can't claim basketball and hockey anymore.
You can have gun laws that are different here. You can have healthcare that's different here. Like all the things that we're all scared of here can just be like kept the same. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just won't be part of the Constitution. It'll say right to bear arms, but not in Ontario. You know, like you're just not allowed to have them there.
Well, I
You
don't
know?
know why that would be any different, but the real
Well,
hole
that's what
in the
people.
whole proposal,
Why don't
there's
people like the States? Tell me one thing.
why don't they like
Right
the
away,
States?
top of your mind, people say, "Oh, I don't want to live in America." Canadians,
Because they're warmongering, stupid morons.
gun wielding, no health care,
They're just really
obese,
dumb.
whatever,
Yeah,
right?
they're
So
kind of dumb.
we just eat properly, don't carry a gun, and still keep our health care here. What's the difference?
Well, I mean, listen, they're not invading us now, so what's going to change if we're part
I
of
want them
them,
to buy
right?
us.
They're not going to invade us if we're part
I
of
want
their
them to buy
country.
us. I will sell my shares in Canada to the U.S.
I don't know what that means, but
What
I
do you mean?
suppose that makes sense. What do you mean
Yeah.
your shares in Canada?
If you
What
got a
shares in
Canadian
Canada?
passport, then
Yeah.
everybody should get a check from the U.S. and say, "Hey, now
Oh,
you're
I see.
officially part of the U.S."
Fine. I just don't see what the hell, other than the currency, what's the difference? But the problem with the plan is that they've offered that dumb motherfucker, what do they call it? Governor of Canada? They're going to call him a
No, that's
governor?
just a
Why
joke
would
right
you
now.
let that? Yeah, but it's a better joke if you say, we're going to take you in as our country, as our 51st state,
And fire
and
you.
you can go
And
fuck
make sure
yourself,
that you're a
Trudeau.
pedophile and that you're
Right?
doing jail time. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
going,
We'll
yeah,
send
you're
our
going to
people and
Siberia,
take
you
care of you
bastard.
really quick. Either you resign or you're going to be on the news for, going in and out of the video store.
I need him and Jagmeet Singh behind bars yesterday.
Why Jagmeet? Why do you got a hard on for Jagmeet?
What do you mean? How is it even
He's literally like an
allowed?
insignificant politician, really, when you look at it.
Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Insignificant. The guy fucking attached his balls to Trudeau
Sure.
for the
And
last
he
few
got
years
a
and
few
made
things.
they're
He
like,
would
let
never
me
win.
finish. They're like Brangelina or whatever the fuck. They're like the most powerful couple you could make
in a minority government.
But they have all the power.
And if the Conservatives get a majority government, then what happens?
If they do, but by then, look at all the damage, TK. Look at all the damage, TK, that these two fucks have done. What did Jagmeet get out of this thing other than just staying in power? What did he get? What got pushed through because Jagmeet wanted it and because of this relationship?
I don't know.
Maybe some stuff.
I'm sure there was lots of things that he probably was okay with.
He drives a Maserati. And he's
good. He took care of himself.
Working out all day.
Politicians take care of themselves. That's what
these guys. Well, this is the. How can you make that statement and be fine with that?
That is the game. You have to understand the game. Politicians are always going to look after themselves, their families, their pensions. It's a job.
This is why we need guns, TK. This is why we need guns. Don't need guns. We need guns and robots and more.
I guarantee Jagmeet's still in the picture as the head of the NDP party going forward. There's going to be a new head of the Liberal Party, and Poilievre wins the election next year. There's my prediction.
I say we abolish the party system. We abolish the party system, and we just vote people in.
Tell me your system. I want to hear
your system. On their merit. It's like,
I want to hear your system.
Look, you can make a poll on Twitter easily. Okay. It's like, here's the candidates. Who do you vote for? Press a button. Boom.
Okay, so now that one guy's in power. He makes all the decisions.
Listen, that guy's the best guy for the country because we all voted for him, not the fucker that lives down the street that's part of the same party as the guy we want in at the top. So you get all these fucking retards along the way to get the biggest idiot at the top.
Who will represent the smaller communities who
you vote for everybody. Everybody. It's like you want to vote for the area ward counselor. Let's vote for the guy. And it doesn't, there's no party affiliation. That's the right guy for the job. You want to go to the next level? You were trying to explain it to me the other day at breakfast, like you kind of thought you knew something, but it didn't really translate into anything on this end. But what I did understand is there's layers of this government that I didn't know existed. But that's even more like the fact I didn't know they existed means I definitely didn't vote on anybody in there, right? Or didn't know I needed to vote, right? Which is kind of crazy. So it's like there's 5 levels of parliament that I should have a vote for on Twitter, for fuck's sakes. right?
Yeah.
No, but
Absolutely.
for real,
I agree with you.
maybe
I
not
agree with
Twitter,
you.
but there has
Yeah.
to be some kind of thing that we could feel comfortable. That's like, you've been verified with your ID, and you want, like, it can't get worse than going to the church or to the community center and filling this thing out with a piece of paper that may get somewhere, may not get somewhere. I don't know where it's going, but we could see the results of the poll, like right when it's finished, right? We would know who won, but we could vote for the independent people, like independently, right? This system doesn't make sense from any angle, in any way, shape, or form. I don't understand even how they came up with this stupid shit. Where's the logic here? Okay, you want the guy 5 levels up, you have to vote for the guy that
Because
lives down the street.
There's seats in the government, so that each person, in order for a party to win, has to win a certain amount of seats. And so how do you vote for those seats? Who would you vote for?
I don't fucking know what you got to do.
You would vote for the person you like in your neighborhood. And
so
then
that
they
the
would
guy,
be representing a party. So
and then that goes
if
up
that
to
party
the
wins
next
enough
level?
seats, then that means that party then now has control, so that each area of the country has somebody speaking for them, and so that it isn't just going to be somebody making the decisions from most likely Toronto, or worse, Ottawa.
Ottawa.
Or
What about fucking Quebec or somewhere in
If we go into the
Montreal?
51st state, let's just Quebec, you're on your own.
You're on your own. Reverse
You're on your own.
referendum. We already decided.
You won. You've decided you want to be separate. You can be there, and we
got the
love
good
you.
housing market
And when
now.
you come to visit the great country of the United States of America's 51st state,
The United
Tontario,
what are we called?
you better bring your passport. All right, and you can have the Canadian dollar.
That's right.
Yeah.
We should set up army at
Make
the
believe
fucking
land.
border
The
there.
Canadian Real Estate Show is living in today, Darryl. Merry Christmas, Darryl.
Happy, what'd you call it before?
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. What did you call it?
Hanukkah.
You changed it now. You changed it.
Hanukkah time.
Your accent changed. Yeah, so we're both going away. So we got a nice show coming up next week. We got a live show in 2 weeks.
Live show in 2 weeks.
Where are you going?
Because we're going to well, my son's going away with his buddy to Dominican, and me and my wife and my daughter are going to Los Cabos.
Cool.
I've never been there before.
Yep.
I don't.
Next week. And we'll be
You're on the other side of Mexico, I believe.
We're doing it big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard.
We don't miss a week, regardless of our geographical location.
No, and desire to miss a week. I mean, fuck this week, man. I could have missed this show. Holy shit. I could have missed this one. Oh,
what's wrong with today's?
I just haven't been feeling good for like a whole week. So I was not feeling great about a week ago, and even more than maybe about a week ago. And then, in order to make myself feel a little better, because I was pretty sore, I went to get a massage. Yeah. And during the massage, the masseuse was like hacking up a lung and sneezing and blowing her nose. And I mean, I don't want to come across as racist, but I'm pretty sure I got that California bird flu right now, or some weird flu from Asia, because that girl was like sneezing and coughing all over me. And then I don't know if it's in my head or if it's real, but man, I felt like shit the next day.
Yeah.
And then the
sounds
next
like the California bird flu Asian variation. That's exactly what it sounds like.
That's what it is. Yeah, and I'm 100%. Certain of it.
Did you hear about that?
Did you hear?
But you should get that checked out.
California's in the state of emergency right now for the bird flu, TK. This is not a joke.
This is intense. Yeah.
You got fucking bird flu in California. You got UFOs all over New Jersey, like all over.
Yeah.
There's even been UFO sightings here in Ontario, apparently.
That's good.
It's getting fucking nutty.
There's UFOs out there. We've already confirmed.
You got people driving through crowds. Did you see that one? Everybody is going fucking insane. Some like is Islamic terrorist or extremist. What do they call them? Islamic
I heard about the Jewish girls' school getting shot up in the middle of the night for the third time.
It's crazy what's going on.
What's wrong with people? And
Palestinians waving
caught the last
flags
guys.
in people's backyards, like Jewish people's backyards. It's getting unhinged, man.
Yeah.
It's getting like
the Palestinian Jewish
not good.
issue.
It's not good.
We can't comment on it, but man, is it a sad state of affairs that people
The whole world is just burning. It's in flames. It's like if you are not on TikTok, you don't know what's really going on out there. But like some of these other countries are really fucked up right now. Like we think it's bad here. Go to the UK. Like it is crazyville in the streets. Okay. Yeah. It is brutal. And now if they're talking about a state of emergency bird flu in California, I mean, how many people travel to and from California every day, for Christ's sakes, all over the world, right?
We had a measles warning yesterday at the Toronto airport. No,
measles?
Another date in December, yeah.
Measles. I am not wearing a fucking mask again.
Yeah.
I am not doing this again, TK.
Look, man, just, take care of yourself out there. Take care of yourself. You should just get a private jet. I think private jet. Yeah, just get a private jet to Mexico.
I'm not talking about even on the plane. I'm just talking about in general. Like, I can't deal with this shit again. One time was crazy. I don't have, listen, I lost a ton of friends, my whole family. Everything got crazy during that whole thing. Now what's going to happen? Well, what's going to happen if you take a stance this time? What's going to happen when all the people decide, nobody's not this time?
Nobody's going back to that.
Nobody's going back to that.
Not nobody, but it won't be the same way where they'll have that same amount of control. There's too much information now out there.
Too much information to do what? We were
tell
watching.
To stay home and wear masks and don't go out and all that. Everyone's gonna be like, been there, done that, seen the movie.
We watched the trucker convoy live. We watched it live as they what didn't they call a state of emergency for that? And they went into some emergency powers and brought in the army.
The convoy was we're not listening anymore. So
that's what I'm saying. Why would people fucking not listen this time when they know what happens? If you're a dissident, you will be destroyed. TK.
Guys, if you're still listening to the show, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We got the good stuff every single Sunday. Check out the Clips channel. Check out the Instagram channel. Check out Spotify, Apple Podcast, all the places that you'd be listening to a podcast. We're there.
Merch store. Go check. Surprisingly, thank you, by the way, to everybody that has purchased stuff on the merch store. Lots of sales
in the merch store.
I can't even believe it. We didn't think we were going to sell anything. And we're
guys, we want to see these out on the streets. Okay.
Yeah. These are much better quality than the last round of shirts. Not that there was anything wrong with those.
Not yet. We'll wish you happy New Year next time. Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year. Merry New Year.
When the show
happy
will air
Christmas.
When the next one is. Merry Christmas and happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah, everybody. All right,
Darryl.
TK.
It's been a blast.
It has been a blast.